Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Wednesday. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button on this video as well as all our other videos. You can also leave us a review on Apple Podcast and also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Big Red Zone. As Danny Football always says, tell a friend. This week, we're going to talk about weekend recap, break down some of the games. No pass this week, but our friend in the South, Tom Brady, helped us out. We'll also do a waiver pickups picks of the week. And it's Christmas time, so we're going to do a breakout an old favorite, the all-time series, and we'll draft our all-time Christmas songs. All that and more on this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by Danny Football.
You got this weirder Christmas going early, man.
I know. I remember from last year. I was thinking maybe you were going to break it out last week, but I knew all December long last year, the Christmas spirit was alive and well.
We got to crank it up. It's almost time. I'm running out of time.
I know. I can't believe Christmas next week. Any special plans? We can talk about it more when we get there, next week. But
no, nothing special right now. I got most of my shopping done today, so we should be.
Very nice.
Easy pickings.
Yeah, I still got to get a bunch of stuff. The wife signed me up for a Yankee swap, so I got to go find something for that. My family wants the Yankee swap for some reason, so I got to break out another Yankee swap gift. And then plus I gotta do the classic gift card run and get a bunch of gift cards that I'm giving out. So did a lot of Black Friday shopping, but I still got a little bit to go. But
that's right. You got time, man.
I got time, plenty of time. Over a week.
Some would say too much time.
Too much time. It's like Tom Brady getting the ball with over 30 seconds left. What are we gonna do? Like, it's too much time. I have too much time on my hands. I'm actually not gonna do anything until December 23rd. To be honest with you.
Bold.
I'm going to be part of that great group of people going in on Christmas Eve, getting last minute gifts. My dad used to do that every year, going to Christmas Eve shopping. It was like, there's nothing more stressful.
Absolutely brutal.
But I know I'm excited. The Christmas spirit is here, and we're going to get to that at the end of the show too. We got a little Christmas tidbit at the end, so we'll get to do that, and then obviously next week will be a big Christmas show, the holiday show special of Big Red.
Holiday special.
But first, let's get to our first segment of this week, weekend recap.
It's the weekend recap.
So for weekend recap, we break down 3 games from the NFL season. Usually we do the Pats game, but obviously they had their bye this week, so we are not going to have that. But we have an extra game that we put on there. We're going to start with the Cowboys versus the football team. Cowboys win despite a bad day from their 2 superstars, Dak and Zeke. Is that any concern that Dak seems to be the last couple of weeks have a couple rough weeks in a row? And Zeke is kind of like disappearing as we go on.
I am concerned. I think we're starting to see them kind of lose a little bit of steam on the offensive side of the ball. Defense was solid for the most part, but Diggs got cooked by Cam Sims. I mean, they're gonna win the NFC East. They're gonna be in the playoffs. But I'm concerned that, like the Patriots early in the season, I don't think they can get over the hump of like the very good teams. Lost to the Bucs opening night, struggled with the Patriots, who have finally found their swagger.
Mm-hmm.
So I am concerned that the Cowboys, once they play that first playoff game, they're gonna run into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I have a feeling. I'm getting nervous for that too. The defense did play well. The one thing, like, offense was unbelievable to start the year. And the defense was so. I mean, the first night they gave up 30-something points to the Bucs, right? They lost. And now the defense is they're kind of trading places. The defense over the last like 5 weeks has been awesome, and their offense is kind of struggling. So, I mean, they won by the final score was where is it? The final score of this game was 27-20, right? So I knew they won by a touchdown, and that touchdown came from the defense. So it's like, I mean, good Super Bowl teams win usually because they have a really good defense. Very they need that good defense. And I've seen a lot of really good offensive teams lose in the playoffs because of a steamrolling defense. Now, I don't think the Cowboys are a steamrolling defense, but they are playing really well. So that may help them in the first round. But like you said, going into the second round of the playoffs, if Dak and Zeke are not are not playing well, and Tony Pollard's out, and it's not looking good for the Cowboys.
No, I think, like you said, you have to have a nails defense to win, and it's not a nails defense. If they're giving up points to Tyler Heineke, who's not even close to what we saw in that wild card game last year, it's gonna be a rough go of it if they draw someone like an Aaron Rodgers or a Kyler Murray or any sort of those elite top tier quarterbacks. They're gonna get cooked.
Yeah, and I mean, you could look. The NFC, I said, is pretty stacked this year. Like, there's a lot of great teams. So, depending on where they fall in the seedings, they could get a good first round. But like you said, after that, it's like if they run into Kyler Murray, I'd even say, Tom Brady. They run into Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers. Like, I feel like they're in trouble. So, Dak's got to play out the time.
Right now, they would be playing first round gets a bye. Or first he gets a bye. Is it 8 teams in now? Or is it 6?
Wouldn't it be it has to be doesn't it have to be an odd number? Because the 1 seed gets a bye. 7?
Is it
7 teams? Because 2 plays 7.
I think you're right. So
I think it's 7. Because I think it is 7 because the Bills are in 7th place right now, and I think they still were holding on to a.
So they'd be playing the Rams. So you're drawing Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
So that's your first game, and then from there, I mean, it's literally Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, or Tom Brady. So there's no easy path here that they're not going to get absolutely eviscerated by a top tier quarterback.
Yeah. So I mean, don't get me wrong. This team has the potential to make a deep run. Not if Dak is playing the way. If Dak plays the way he did at the beginning of the season against Tom Brady, I think they have a good shot. And they also need Zeke to kind of figure it out too. Their defense plays well. I don't know. I think they're not my top pick in the NFC. I'll say that, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dak starts playing out of his mind and the defense keeps it going. I wouldn't be surprised. They have a really good wide receiving core. Like between CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper,
it's there. The question is, will they start to peak at the right time? I feel like they're starting to not decline, but they're definitely not playing their best football right now. Whereas teams like the Bucs and the Patriots and the Cardinals are like pedaled down right now.
Very fair. And if we look at the last few weeks, they play the Giants next week, the football team at home the week after. The Cardinals, which will be a good test on the second to last week. That's a good test for them going into the playoffs. That could be a potential playoff matchup. And Cowboys-Eagles last week. So it's not the easiest schedule, but it's not the toughest either. Like the Giants football team and Eagles, depending on Jalen Hurts, how Jalen Hurts plays each week. Those are very winnable games. So it's all on Dak, I think, to be honest with you. It depends on how he plays. And also, depending on how Mike McCarthy can find a way to blow a game. We'll have to see how they do.
Remains to be seen on the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys is like that extreme. Like at the beginning of the season, I was very high on them after that first. They lost, but they looked really good against the Bucs. But after that, like I don't know, like the last few weeks is making me a little questionable. Moving on to the Packers Bears, a old school rivalry like no other. Packers blew them out. They didn't blow them out, but the score, it's like the thing, like the score doesn't really reflect. It was a 15-point game. Start with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers went off 341 yards, 4 touchdowns. Devontae Adams, most of that was to Devontae Adams, 121 yards for Devontae Adams, 2 touchdowns. I loved it because it helped me out in fantasy football. I have the 2 combo. I wanted to go that combo in one league, and I did it in this, and it's working out just fine for me. But that Aaron Rodgers after the game says that toe was bothering him even more. I don't know. I don't know how much you believe in it or not. If it's really that big of a problem, but if this keeps him out of the last few weeks, I mean, this could be devastating for the Packers.
No, that would be huge if the Packers lost him, and then that kind of sinks their season, if we're being honest. And seeding is also important. So if Aaron Rodgers goes down these last couple of weeks, that could, vastly depend on where they end up at the end of the season. My biggest takeaway from this game was that he looked really good. I didn't seem like it was bothering him, but it was concerning that in that post-game press conference, he himself brought it up and said it's not where it should be. We're gonna have to see where it goes. If that didn't happen, I would have said this is going to be a gunfight for that top seed in the NFC because the Packers look good, man. Both sides of the ball. Aaron Jones is going on all cylinders. Like you said, Devontae Adams is going off. He's starting to move it around to the other receivers. A.J. Dillon's kind of going in and out, and they're playing good football. But like we're saying, if it's without Aaron Rodgers, there's nothing else going on. Just this game, they looked good. The Bears, I was watching SportsCenter this morning, and they're starting to run with this thing that Aaron Rodgers just owns them, and it's completely true, man. Like it is insane how bad Aaron Rodgers owns the Chicago Bears, because no matter what they did with the punt return, with scoring and taking a lead and having the lead and trying to there's nothing they could do. Aaron Rodgers at will just continues to decimate the Chicago Bears' hopes and dreams, to the point that a couple of weeks ago he's screaming into the stands that he still owns them.
Yeah,
and it's at least for the foreseeable future, it's not going to change, man. Matt Nagy's not stopping this guy. Justin Fields isn't going to outduel him anytime soon. They don't have the weapons to deal with them. It's Packers over Bears for a long time, man.
I mean, to give Justin Fields a little credit, he looked better than I've seen him early in the season. But you're right. Which could be this season, which it sounds like this season, till Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay. I think the Bears are hoping for that, so they don't have to play him twice in a row, unless he goes to the Vikings, like we said. Looking at the Packers' final schedule, they have some tough games, to be honest with you. I mean, potentially be tough games. They play the Ravens next week. Lamar could be out. That's a big question mark. And you never know what Ravens team you're going to get. Like, are you going to get the Ravens team at the beginning of the season or the Ravens team of late? Like, it's very up in the air. The Browns are a wild card team. They could be really good.
Browns
really
are still in the running for the division, man. The whole AFC North is wide open.
That's what I'm saying. Depending on who you're getting, Nick Chubb healthy, Baker can hit his receivers. Like that's a wild card team. You don't know who you're gonna get. They play the Vikings, which is another wild card team. I mean, if Dalvin Cook's gonna run for 200 yards, whatever he gets. I mean, there's no stopping that. And then you have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Who knows? And then they play the Lions the last week, which should be a nice, easy win for them to kind of help with seeding. But I mean, these next 3 weeks, it's not easy ones. So if Aaron Rodgers can't go, they're in trouble. They're in serious hot water. And I think Rex Ryan said it today, which is funny. He said he knows about feet, and he said he's just trying to get an off day.
God,
this guy is unbelievable. Rex Ryan is out of his mind, but he said he thinks he's just trying to fight for a couple of days off, which, hey, could be true. Could be true. He just wants a couple days, to rest that toe, and maybe he's back to normal.
No, I think the biggest thing coming out of that was his toe. I don't think the Bears ever had a chance of winning this game. It's just never going to happen.
No, absolutely.
It's just never going to happen.
To be honest with you, I thought it was closer than I thought. 15 point. I thought it would be like 45-0, to be honest with you. 45-7. Like, it's 30 points against the Packers D. I was kind of shocked. But, yeah, and Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, so good win for them. I will say they need to get rid of Matt Nagy probably at the end of the year. I think it's too late to do a mid-season thing. They could if they wanted to. But I think they need to find a new young coach to come in with Justin Fields to try to work with him and get him going, because he's shown flashes. It's just he's not that guy that both of you and I were high on. He isn't that guy yet in the pros. And, if we've learned anything from this season, it's all coaching. Like, coaching is big in the NFL. And if you don't have the coach, you're not going to go too far.
I think he really did himself in with the whole Andy Dalton, Justin Fields back and forth.
Yeah.
I think he really did himself in, because as much as I love Andy Dalton, like, if you're taking Justin Fields that high in the draft, you need to be playing him. We saw the whole thing with, Justin Herbert comes in because Tyler Taylor went down early and it worked out. Mac Jones is working out so far. They're young guys that you need to throw into the fire and see how they do. And Justin Fields, like we know, went before Mac Jones. Like, he should have been ready to go. And Matt Nagy, didn't commit to him. And now he's committing to him. And you can argue it's too late. Like, it's unfortunate because he is a good coach. Like, we've seen that he can be a good coach, but I just don't think he's a good fit for Justin Fields, given that he didn't believe in him enough to let him take the ball and run with it. So I think a coaching change is coming. I think they're going to want to bring in someone who can groom Justin Fields. And honestly, it's going to be an uphill battle, because you need to help get the kid his confidence back, because he's not gaining any confidence by, getting shredded like this. So whoever's next after Nagy, you have to come in and not completely rebuild Justin Fields, but you have to get that confidence back. You have to let him know, hey, I have you. So Chicago's arguably in for a big rebuild. So it's crazy.
What week did they go Justin Fields? Can you remember around what week would you say? If you had to guess.
Maybe week 7.
See, I mean, they did fumble the bag with that. Like, he did fumble the bag with the Andy Dalton, Justin Fields thing. But maybe I would have gone a little sooner to him, but I don't mind him not starting Fields right away. I'd rather him sit for a little bit and have Andy Dalton go. But I think you're right. I think it was just too back and forth between those two.
It's one thing if you say Andy Dalton's a guy and Justin Fields is going to learn. It's another to be like, all right, Andy Dalton got hurt. Justin's in. All right, but we're going to go back to Dalton.
Right.
Dalton's struggling. We're going to go back to Justin. And now it's Justin. All right, Justin, it's your team. And by the time you really give him the keys, it's probably like week 9, week 10. And he's like, you got to be shitting me, man.
Right.
It's one thing if you give Mac Jones the keys at week 1 and you're like, all right, hey, we're going to build you into this. Like the Dolphins game, you're going to have to kind of, you're going to have to bite down and get through this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Week 2 is not going to be great. Week 3 is not going to be great. But when we hit our stride, we're going to hit our stride and we're going to let you open up that playbook. Justin Fields didn't get that. Justin Fields got all right, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. Okay, now you're in. Now we're going to let you build it up. And he's not going to get a chance to kind of, flash the whole playbook because it's going to be too late.
Right. I think once Dalton got hurt, like at the beginning, like whenever Justin Fields came,
that should have been it.
That was when the keys should have been handed over.
That's when Justin Herbert took over. That's when Baker Mayfield took over his rookie year. That's when Tom Brady took over. Was when Drew Bledsoe got hurt. If the door opens and your guy performs, you gotta run with him. You can't pull him back and then do it later on. You can't do it.
100%. 100% agree. So hopefully they find a young offensive-minded coach to come in for Justin Fields, because I think he's got some tools. Like, I think he could be really good. Let's talk about our friends to the south. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Buffalo Bills. Tom helps out his old team. I saw some ridiculous stat. Like, Tom's only lost to the Bills like
3 times.
3 times. Yeah. Was it 36 now and
33 and 3.
33 and 3. That's unbelievable. Bucks got a big lead early and almost blew it. Got to give Josh Allen some credit. He led that team back into that game. But if we learned anything, Tom Brady in overtime, there's not much of a chance. So Tom Brady gets the W. This moves the Bills, as I said, back to the 7 seed, barely holding on to a playoff spot. How big is this win? Well, start with a team that actually played. How big of a loss is this for the Buffalo Bills?
This is a pretty damaging loss considering that a couple weeks ago they held the division lead in their hands. Like they were up 3. Were they up 3 or 2? They were up at least 2.
I think 2, maybe
they were
2.5.
They were up 2.5, whatever it was. And it was those 2 Patriot games. We were saying it. Hey, we play the Bills twice. We need to win both those games if we're going to get back in there, because they had that cupcake schedule leading up to the Pats game.
Right.
So those 2 head-to-heads were huge for us because we're like,
and they blew one of those.
Well,
they blew one of the cupcake ones.
Well, that's what I'm saying is because we assumed they were going to just go through those, like the Jaguar games and whoever else they played, Dolphins, Jets. We assumed they were just going to go through those teams and win. So my thought was, shit, we need to win those head-to-heads because that's how we're going to get the games back on the division. They don't. They blow the games. We beat them in Buffalo. We have our bye week, so they had the game in hand. They lose the game in hand to the Bucks, and now they're 2 games back. So it's, like I said, it's a damaging loss because at one point you held the division lead in your hands. You controlled your own destiny. You were in the running for the 1 seed, and in a matter of weeks, you have a bad loss, close loss to the Patriots in your house, and now you lose another close one to the Bucks, which for all intents and purposes, they got dominated for 3 quarters.
Right.
And now you're the ones who are 2 back, and you only have 1 game head to head now. So they don't even control their own destiny to try to get back into it. So it's a huge loss. And I think it's going to come down to that head to head in Gillette. And if the Patriots win that, it's over.
Yeah. Well, big week next week. Like coming off the bye, the Colts game is going to be big. They need to win. This is like, it's going to, I think people maybe, I guess I shouldn't say that. I was going to say that people are kind of overlooking the Colts, but the Colts are 1-point favorites in this game. We need to win this game. We need to win against the Colts. The Bills are playing the Panthers, which is like ridiculous. They have such an easy schedule down the stretch, beside our game. So we need to win against the Colts. Then you go into the game, say they win still, you're up 2. You go into the Buffalo Bills game. That's a time to clinch the T-shirt and hat. That's a time to clinch the division. So because if you win that, you're up 3 games and you have the division. So this is a big loss for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they're 1 game below 500. Like at the beginning of the season, did we think at this point the Buffalo Bills would be 1 game above 500?
No.
Like it's nuts. So it's huge loss. Big win for the Bucks. I mean that like we talked about in the NFC when we were talking about the Cowboys. It's in the Packers for that matter. It's such a competitive division, the NFC. Like everyone's fighting for that 1 seed, and you kind of need to keep pace with teams. And they're 10-3, and I don't know what seed they are. I know there's a couple 10-3 teams, but I think this is a big OT win for them because they needed it. Like they need not as much as I think we needed the Buffalo.
They keep pace with the Cardinals, and there are a lot of things that can go wrong. It's a big one to close out that game and secure the win, as opposed to blowing it and then all of a sudden you're 9-4 and you have to chase. So the Bucks, just like the Patriots, they're pedal down, man. They're playing their best football, and whoever wants to stop them can stop them.
Yeah. And once again, I mean, I think the Buffalo Bills, one of their biggest problems is, I mean, they gave up 33 points to Tom Brady. I mean, a lot of good defenses. They have a really good defense, and they have, they're struggling with injuries on their secondary. So you got to give them credit. Their problem is, I think, biggest problem is they don't have a running game. their leading rusher was Josh Allen with 109 yards. And he also threw for 308. Like that's pretty impressive. To run, he had 3 total touchdowns, had over 400 yards total between passing and rushing. That's pretty impressive. But I mean, they don't have any running game. Their next running back was Singletary, 4 carries, 52 yards.
Yeah. Well,
Part of that was
we saw that in the snow game. The whole
right.
point
That's
of
what
the
I'm
snow-
saying.
The whole point of the snow game is that you run the ball, and they just did not run the ball.
So I think that's their biggest issue going into the last stint of the season in the playoffs is they don't have any running game. So if I'm a team, I'm going to be looking for the pass and making you beat us with the run. And I don't think they can beat you with the run. So we'll have to see. Tom Brady, thank you very much because you helped my fantasy football team out a lot. And how about Playoff Lenny? Playoff Lenny has totally kicked Ronald Jones out of Tampa. I was very high on Ronald Jones, and Leonard Fournette has totally kicked him out of Tampa.
Tom loves Lenny.
He loves Playoff Lenny. Their team is so good, man. I'm looking at their offense; it's so good. But Bucks Pats Super Bowl. I'm just gonna keep pushing that Bucks Pats Super Bowl. You heard it here first on the Big Red Zone. I said it before the season began. Bucks Patriots, highest rated Super Bowl of all time.
The boys will be ready to go.
Let's move on to our next segment of the night, the picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
So for picks of the week, we pick one game from the NFL's upcoming weekend. We're tied. Danny Football, we're both tied, 9-4. I feel like the Patriots right now coming into a big playoff push. Who's your pick of the week?
I'm going to go Packers over Ravens. It's going to be shaky depending on what Aaron Rodgers is looking like, but it's also shaky for Lamar Jackson. So this can either be a Rodgers-Jackson matchup or Rodgers against a backup matchup or 2 backups going at it. So I'm going to go with the Packers. I think the Ravens, much like the Cowboys, are starting to decline a little bit. That, like I said, that division's wide open, and the Packers are hitting on all cylinders. So I think Rodgers and no Rodgers, I think they can take care of this.
Yeah, the Ravens have totally fallen off. I was just looking at that. The Browns may mess around and win the division.
That's what I'm saying, dude. We destroyed the Browns, and they can still win the division.
So I think you're right. What a letdown that would be if it's 2 backups. I'm riding the hot hand. I've been riding it. I'm on a heater right now, and I'm not going to change up. Prove me wrong, NFL. I'm going the Pats over the Colts. I'm riding my Patriots hot hand. Last week, obviously, I couldn't go Patriots, so I went with the next best thing, which was Tampa. And this week, I'm going Pats over Colts. It's going to be a big week. They're the underdog in this game, and I have if they're going to try to shut down Jonathan Taylor, which I think the Pats run defense can. And it was just said today, I think Carson Wentz is out of this game. He's on the COVID list. I don't know if
Carson
he's out.
Wentz isn't playing.
It said it was potential COVID list.
If he doesn't play, we're gonna roll. Holy shit!
That'd be a huge. I think that's a huge break. Let me double check that. I think I'm not going to double check that now, but I think I got a notification today. Carson Wentz could be on the COVID list. It was a huge outbreak today with a bunch of people going on the COVID list. It's like over 35 names. But going Pats over Colts. I got to ride the hot hand. For waiver pickup of the week, if you're looking that up, I'm just going to move on. You can, if you see it.
I'm not seeing anything.
No. I could have totally made that up. Who knows?
That would be crazy.
I swear I saw a notification that said I clear out all my notifications, but I swear I saw a notification that said Carson Wentz is out or on the list. But I'm gonna go for my waiver pickup. I'm gonna go with a guy that's rostered in 15% of leagues on ESPN. I'm going Jalen Guyton of the. I'm trying to pull up his thing. Of the Chargers. Sorry, I was pulling up this thing. Of the Chargers. He's had 2 big weeks. He's had a touchdown in each of the last 2 weeks, double digits, 18 and 17 points. in fantasy football. Not a lot of targets. He's had 4 and 3 targets over the last couple weeks. And that's kind of where he's been all year. But the yards have been there in the last couple weeks. He's at 90 and 87. Chiefs, aren't that great of a second. I don't think they're that great of a defense. They're playing better the last few weeks. And then he plays Houston week 16. So I think he has a good chance to continue this. Herbert's looking his way. So especially for touchdowns. So I'm going Jalen Guyton or Gutton. Is that how you say it? Gutton?
I'm not sure.
Eugene? I don't know. Jalen G.
Jalen G. I'm going Cam Sims, 0% rostered in leagues. He had the highlight catch against Trayvon Diggs. He had a 15.9. Why not? Late in the season, playoff pushes, grab people while you can, stow them away. Cam Sims, 0%, so he's out there.
Yeah, might as well throw him on the roster. Maybe keeper, huh? Maybe a little keeper action there.
That'd be crazy.
Before we get to our draft, let's do some quick updates around. First and foremost, I want to say, very saddened by the news. Demaryius Thomas passed away earlier this week. The Broncos did an unbelievable tribute to him this week. There was chills, honestly, and DT was such a unbelievable receiver. That was in the height of me getting into football was when he was when he won the Super Bowl, and I was into it, obviously with the Patriots and stuff, but really learning the rest of the league, and it's really sad to see it, hear that news. So
yeah, he was a staple of those mid 2010s Broncos teams. He was always the top wide receiver. That was the guy that we always looked at, whether it was Revis or Aqib Talib or maybe not Gilmore, but that Revis Talib, those our top guys were covering him because he was their best receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw him in those AFC championship games, that Super Bowl. And he was dominant. He had that Tebow overtime win against the Steelers way back when in the wild card game. So I always remembered him as just being that speedy, dominant Broncos #1 receiver. And then he bounced around a little bit. He had a cup of coffee with the Pats, which honestly I was stoked for because
I was so happy when we got him.
We had seen him firsthand, what he could do. It didn't work out. He went to the Jets, played with the Jets. But it's just unfortunate. What was he, 33?
Yeah,
something like that. That's just too young, man. It's just sad.
Yeah, he's definitely he was an unbelievable player and an unbelievable person off the field. So, that was definitely sad. And the tribute they did on Sunday was great. I don't know how you segue away from that, but looking at the Celtics, that's another thing. I don't really want to talk much Celtics.
Up 11 right now, so
let's
see if they inject a little bit of hope into us.
They'll find a way to blow this game. I feel like the fan from Major League.
Oh my God.
That's just screw this team, blah, blah, blah. But I'm pretty on pace for my prediction.
Your prediction is still on the table. Mine is out.
There's 7-7 since the last time we talked. They're a game below 500. I said they were going to be 500. How did we get 16-16? Because I think we're over that. No.
What do you mean?
What are they right? They're
13-14 right now.
When did we measure? When were we going here when we said that? We were going to the Cavs game. Is that it?
I think it was right before the Christmas Day game, right?
Right before the Christmas Day game. The Cavs, because we went Cavs to Cavs.
Yeah.
So what are they? So what are they right now? They're
13-14.
Okay, and
if they win tonight, they'll be 14-14.
So they gotta
so
split.
They literally just need to go 2-2.
And they play the Warriors and the 76ers, the Knicks, and the Cavs. They should win the Cavs game. 76ers are a mess. They should beat that team. The Knicks are kind of a mess right now, but we're a mess as well.
I don't think they're beating the Warriors. Although we play them close for some reason, so who knows?
For some reason, we always play them close, but I don't have much faith in them. The Knicks totally dropped off. I'm looking at the the East right now. First place is the Nets. No surprise there. The Bucks, no surprise in second place. Third place, the Bulls, who put
Dude, the
in work
Bulls,
this
Bulls are
offseason.
sneaky good.
The
And the
Heat are, sorry, go ahead.
the Cavs don't even have Colin Sexton, which is nuts.
That is nuts. Like that, like, the Celtics are in trouble because like the Bulls are playing out of their mind after they made those couple of acquisitions. The Heat are right at 4, which is where they always are and they always will be, is the 4 seed. The Cavs are a surprise. They got a lot of young talent, but they're playing great. Taco Fall must be something to do with that. 76ers is a mess, and they're still in the 6th seed. The thing that kills me is the Wizards are the 7th seed, man.
Yeah, we're
like
below
that.
we're below the Wizards, Hornets, and Hawks, so that can't be happening.
And the thing that stinks about the Wizards is, I mean, they're starting to drop off a little bit. I think they're 4-6 in their last 10. I mean, we're 4-6 in our last 10, so I guess that's not saying much, but we need the Wizards to do. As a Celtics fan, you should be rooting for the Wizards to lose because the more they win, the more it means Bradley Beal is likely going to stay because they're actually trying to build around them. If they start winning, why is he going to come to Boston? So we really need them to start losing and the Celtics to start winning. It's insane. The Pacers are starting to blow it up. The guy that I think you talked about last week about potentially Miles Turner and who else was on the trade block for them? Levert. Another guy that I would like over both of those guys is Sabonis. I think it gets
fucking love Sabonis. If he,
I love him.
Just thinking about it.
But I'm saying like a trade. If they're trying to blow it up, I would throw some pieces at the wall and see if they stick for Sabonis. Give draft picks and stuff like that for young guys and throw in like, Schroeder, who's playing well. I would throw Marcus Smart in for Sabonis. Like, I think Sabonis helps you get closer to the hump because then you're able to move Jason Tatum up. I think Jason Tatum playing down at the 4 is not a good thing for your team. I think him playing up outside and having some big guys down low, I like that a lot better. If you go with a start, if you're able to get away with not trading Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, then you can go into a lineup where, depending on who you trade away, for the guard, you either have Smart or Schroeder at the 1. Call me crazy. I would start Romeo Langford at Jaylen Brown at the 2. Tatum at the 3, Sabonis either at the 4 or 5, and 4, and Rob Williams at the 5. I think that's a solid 5.
That would be a solid 5.
Say what's on your mind, Danny.
Maybe GM Brad will be different than Coach Brad, and maybe GM Brad will be different than Danny Ainge because something has to give here. We saw it last season. We can't just sit on our hands and do nothing if we're going to try to win and make a push here. If we're going to try to make a push, we got to make moves. If Brad's willing to punt on another season of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's prime, it's ballsy, but if that's the move, then that's the move. But if we're going to make a move, we got to do it.
Yeah. I believe me, at the beginning of the season when everyone was panicking and wanting to trade, blow it up the first week, I was like, no, let's sit tight for a little bit and let's try to recover here.
If we sit tight, this is going to turn into a disaster.
Right. We're getting into Christmas time. This is when you start making moves to try to figure out your team because this team is not working. It's not. I thought Brad did a good job. I'll be the first one to admit it. I thought that Brad did a good job. And maybe the problem is not with the guys he brought in, but it's the guys that he already has here. Maybe maybe Jason Tatum's not the guy that you want. I mean, you can't trade him. You got to kind of roll the dice and see what you can get with him. But maybe he's not the guy. Maybe Jaylen Brown's not the guy. I don't know. Maybe you take Marcus Smart out of the equation and those two do better. I don't know. But this team has some serious fundamental issues with the roster, and they need to figure it out because it's nuts. I mean,
as we can see, it's not a coaching issue anymore because now it's completely different coach, completely different system. So it's falling on the players now. So
yeah,
if it becomes if this season is a failure, it's 100% on the roster.
moving on to something a little more positive. Do you have any UMass Lowell updates on the Riverhawks hockey?
We swept Vermont, so that was good. Let me give you a quick update on the standings. UMass Lowell,
Number one.
first place in Hockey East. Hate to say it, guys. Hate to say it.
We told you so.
First place in Hockey East, 25 points, 1 point clear UMass at the top. So we are going, if I'm right, let me check real quick. If I'm correct, UMass Lowell is going into the Christmas break, number 1 in Hockey East, and number 12 in the country. I don't want to say I told people so. I don't want to say I saw this coming. I don't want to say I predicted this, but the numbers don't lie. And the numbers right now say that UMass Lowell is the best team in Hockey East, and they are.
I'm big. I told you, I'm right with you.
Fun fact, and I didn't realize this until I went. When did I go? Was it 2 weeks ago now?
2 weeks ago. Last week.
Yeah,
last week.
Was it last Friday? No, it wasn't the Friday that just went by. It was 2 Fridays ago.
No, it wasn't this. Yeah, it was the last show.
I
we talked about.
didn't know, but I did the math. I'm undefeated as an alum. I haven't seen UMass Lowell lose since 2018. Undefeated in return games.
All I gotta say is numbers don't lie.
Wins, and wins. We had just the 2 this year. We had the comeback win in overtime against Northeastern, and then we had the shootout win against UMass. And we had another UMass win. I think it was another Merrimack win. I haven't been to a ton of games since I graduated, but it's been nothing but wins since I left. So is this the year we win the Natty? Who knows? But I'm saying it is.
Why not us?
Why not us?
I'm
not us. Another quick little tidbit. We're 4 in the country in goals against with a 1.6. That's good for 4th lowest in the country.
goalie.
Goalie University, man. I've been saying it for years. Goalie University. Savory is the man. Just like Hellebuck, just like Wall, just like Boyle before him. Savory's the man. Go hot.
Go on. I needed that close, and thank you. I'm just pulling up a random number generator here. We'll go 1 to 100. I think that's good.
Did UMass choke? What did they do?
They did not choke. They're too good.
They had UMass Amherst.
Oh,
Lost. Oh no, they got an overtime win. That's how we jumped them. Okay.
So you got any more on the?
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
I was ready to start shitting on them if they had lost a couple of games.
So we're moving on to our not our final segment. I shouldn't say that. Another segment that we like to do, the all-time series. This time it's all-time Christmas songs. We're gonna draft our all-time Christmas songs team. 5 rounds, five songs on there. We got to say the title of the song and the artist. I mean, everyone's saying Christmas songs a bunch of times, so want to make sure we get the right version that you are looking for. So we both could have Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but it could be different artists. Okay, that was just an example. You don't have to pick.
Right.
All right. Daily Football, as the person that is creating the random number generator, I will let you pick 1 to 100. What do you want first? Or do you want me to go first? I'll let you choose.
1 to 100.
Do you want me to pick the number first?
Yeah, you go first because you always praises right people.
I do prices right. You. I'm gonna go. I'll go 73.
73. Oh man, I could feel it coming that you're gonna nail 73. Hold on. Let me get a good number here.
I didn't mean to say it, but last time I guessed 73, I caught it on the nose.
I'm gonna go 23.
23. You're closer. 38.
Nice. Awesome.
All right. So you get first pick. What are you going with?
I'm going All I Want for Christmas Is You, Mariah Carey.
Oh, that's such a.
It's the one.
It is a good. That is a good pick. I mean, there's all good picks. These are like
right.
it's
but I
great.
feel like that's like the universal fucking song
Yeah.
at this point.
All I Want for Christmas Is You. All right. I'm gonna go. This is Is it bad that I'm struggling in the first round?
Oh no.
I'm gonna go with I'm going old school here.
Okay.
I don't know. I like a lot of old school Christmas songs. I feel like this is what's gonna bite me in the butt.
I mean, a lot of mine are gonna be old ones too.
I'm gonna go with this was just a classic. It is the Do They Know It's Christmas Time? You know, the one with a bunch of people in it.
Do they know it's Christmas time?
I forget who was in that song. It's it was kind of like it reminded me of like a Live Aid thing.
Oh, it's by Band-Aid.
It had like a bunch of people in it.
Yeah.
And I remember you ever see Daddy's Home too with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell?
I have not seen that movie.
Mark,
no.
they sing that song in it too. But I'm going with the that first version. That's a good song.
Interesting. All right. I'm going Blue Christmas by Elvis.
Oh, you son of a gun.
Another classic. I'm going with nothing but classics, man. I'm busting out the big guns for this draft.
I'm gonna go. Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
That's a
Bruce
good one.
Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
The Bruce Springsteen
Nice.
one. That's such a good one. I feel like I reached a little bit on. Do they know
Nice.
it's Christmas time?
I'm going Let It Snow, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, great. Bruce. I don't know what Bruce means. All right. So, oh wait, we're not doing Snake here.
No, we're going back and forth.
What is this nonsense? We've always done Snake
No,
drafts.
we're going back and forth.
What is this nonsense here? The number one pick just gets all the advantage here. Oh man, I just got fleeced. That was bad. I can't believe we did that. It was supposed to be back and forth. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be back and forth. It was supposed to be
Ball's in your court.
I'm gonna go. Well, man, that was a mess up there. Let's go with I'm just gonna go with songs I like now at this point. I think you've pretty much beat me. I'm gonna go "War Is Over" by John Lennon.
Wow. Ready for this one?
Yeah,
I'm going I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus.
I hate that song.
Jackson 5.
I absolutely hate that song. No matter who sings it, I hate that song.
People
You
get
already lost me. You lost me.
people get up for that song. Jackson 5. And then I already know my 5. I'm ready to drop this one.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, this is just a classic song. I feel like. Did you say this one yet? I feel like this is just a song that everyone sings at the Christmas time. I'm gonna go. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
That's a good one.
I'll go the Michael Bublé. I gotta throw a Michael Bublé in there too. I hate my list. I think because I didn't go back to back here.
Yeah, you got thrown off the groove. All right, my last one's gonna be "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch."
I don't like that song either. That's not as bad as the Santa Mommy Kissing Santa Claus one. I hate that one. My list is trash. You already won. I'm going with a classic to end this one off.
Baby. Close it out.
This is is it Bing?
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby. I think it's Bing Crosby that sings this.
Oh, I think you know where you're going. Come on.
It's White Christmas.
Oh, all right. I thought you were gonna go Silver Bells.
I'm going. Yeah, no. You know that one? That's a good one.
He does
I
both.
think it's Bing Crosby. Yeah, he did. I mean, he did all of those songs, but "Dreaming of a White Christmas," I feel like that's a
good one. That's a classic.
it's a good one to close out on. I think I finished strong. White Christmas. Let's look at these lists here. I mean, if I had if I had back-to-back picks, I think I would have went Blue Christmas there on the second pick. But what are you gonna do? What's the other Jackson 5
Christmas songs.
Christmas song that they did that's big? That one's big. I think is it Santa Claus that's coming to town? Yeah, that's the big Jackson 5 one.
Bruce Springsteen does that one too.
That's my second pick. That was my second pick. I just wrote Bruce. I'll write it in there.
Bruce one did he take? I was like, all right.
I'll write it in there so we know. All right. So I went. Do they know it's Christmas time? I feel like I could have waited on that one. That was a little bit of a reach there.
That's all right, dude. You went for the passion pick.
I liked it. No pandering on this team. No pandering on this team.
Dude, these are all my favorites. I swear to God. This would be my Monstars if I could make a Christmas team.
I feel like I was
gonna go "Baby It's Cold Outside," but people don't like that song anymore.
Yeah, that one's taking a turn for the worse over the last few years. People don't like that one anymore.
That song soured on people.
Yeah. Santa Claus is Coming Down by Bruce Springsteen, just an absolute jam. I was thinking about going the Hanukkah song, throwing that in there.
Oh my God.
But Adam Sandler, classic. But War Is Over by John Lennon. That's a good song. I don't know if people like it, but that's a passion pick, as you say. Beginning to look a lot like Christmas. That's like, I think, I hear that song all the time. And with Christmas and White Christmas, is just imagine Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, having that song going. That's
a little snow globe, snow outside.
Yeah. What's your least favorite Christmas song of all time? Like, what's the one song?
Oh man, I left out Dominic the Donkey. Shit, I love it. Damn, that definitely should have been on there. My least favorite. Oh man, let me take a quick look at the playlist. I'm not a huge fan of Carol of the Bells. Oh, Feliz Navidad's another good one. Shit.
Feliz Navidad's a great one.
That's a good one too. Here We Come a Caroling. I'm not a big fan of that one.
I hate Santa Baby.
Oh, probably
Santa.
I think Little Drummer Boy. I'm not a big fan of Little Drummer
Really?
Boy. I'm not a big fan of that.
There was I forget who sings it. There was the Little Drummer Boy one with Bing Crosby, and there was another guy on it. It was a live version. I almost picked that one. I forget who sings. I couldn't remember who sings with him, so I didn't go with it. But it was like such a classic. It sounded good. I hate. Do you like that song? I just said it. Santa Baby.
No, I like that song.
You do like that? I can't stand that song. That one, I just.
Yeah, mine's probably Carol of the Bells. It's just annoying.
Carol of the Bells. Yeah, probably Santa Baby for me.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
I'm thinking of like absolute bangers for next week. Next week we're gonna do our all-time Christmas movies draft. I got some heavy hitters. If you get the one pick, wait, did you get the one pick?
I had the one pick today.
Today. I gotta tell you, I better have the back-to-back there. We got to go back to the back-to-back. That definitely threw me for a loop. I can't believe I forgot that. That's some solid list there. We'll throw it in a playlist, a Big Red Zone playlist. You can vote. We'll put it on Twitter maybe, and you can see. Let us know who you like. Is there anyone that we forgot? Is there any song? I mean, we thought of a couple songs as we went. What's up with that hippopotamus song? That one's being played a lot this year. I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. It reminds me of Dominic the Donkey.
I've not heard that song, no.
Do yourself a favor after this show. Listen to I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. It's kind of a crazy song.
All right.
But without further ado, let's get into our final segment of the night, the People's Topic.
It's the People's Topic, baby! People's Topic.
All right, so for People's Topic, you run on our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Starting off first, My good friend Ellie says Brock Holt. Did Brock Holt sign somewhere? Or
I'm
did he
assuming
do
he
something?
he must. Oh, he had a reunion with Benintendi. They were both in a batting cage together. So maybe she's talking about that. What is Brock Holt up to? Brock Holt.
Is there like news? Did he go somewhere?
Yeah, he was with Benintendi.
He's with the Rangers still?
Is he? I don't know. He can't sign anywhere. If he hasn't signed, he can't sign anywhere
Yeah,
because
it's
of the
in the.
lockout. Brock Holt. Let's see. Nope, he's a free agent.
He's a free agent. You know what?
Hopefully, he signs somewhere.
I'd take him on the take him on the Sox. Why not? We're bringing everyone back. Let's bring back Brock Holt.
Just get the band back together at this point.
We
I
brought
mean,
back.
I'd prefer Holt over fucking Danny Santana. So why
Yeah,
not?
that's true. That's true. And you know what? He's got a cannon of an arm, so put him on the mound too. Solves two problems with like one player. I love Brock Holt, so I wouldn't mind if he came back. I don't know what the need would be, but you know what?
Utility guy, just to have him.
I love him, and his kid is awesome too. So there's a lot of selling features for Brock Holt. Thank you, Ellie. Uh-oh. We got your wife. This is coming from Paige.
All right.
She goes, should I pull a Molly and say me? Just kidding. Let's talk about you. Favorite sport to watch? Oh, is she gonna get mad at me that I read all her thoughts again?
If she even listens to this part. Honestly. Favorite sport to watch. See, I don't know if she means live or on TV. If it's live, it's definitely hockey. If it's on TV, it's basketball.
Yeah, I love. Call me crazy. I call me crazy. I think my favorite sport to watch is basketball, just because that's my favorite. That's like my favorite sport. But I was having this conversation with someone the other day. There's nothing like going to a game at Fenway Park. Like there's nothing like it. Like the atmosphere.
Yeah, baseball live is a million times better than baseball on TV.
And like I think it all depends on where you go too. Like I've been to a few other stadiums, but nothing compares to going to Fenway. Like I feel like Fenway is just like a different animal. So live, I'd go watch a game at Fenway any day. Like I feel like, a summer night, a cold fall night, cold spring night, like a daytime game, it doesn't matter. Like the atmosphere there is unbelievable. It's electric. So
yeah, I mean, I would say baseball. I'm kind of torn because I went to a fucking million Woo Sox games all summer, but I also went to a million goddamn Umass Lowell hockey games when I was still in Lowell. So I'm gonna lean hockey just because that was my first like consistent live experience. Like I wasn't going to Bruins games or Celtics games or Pats games or Red Sox games at the clips. I was going to UMass Lowell hockey games. Now that the Woo Sox are here, I can kind of pick up that clip with baseball, but I'm gonna have to go with hockey.
Yeah. Vicky has one for us. She said the longest Monday ever. It was a long
Did
Monday.
you feel like it was a long Monday?
It was a long Monday. Last week just dragged, dude. Like I don't know what it was. Last week felt like the longest week ever, and this Monday did not help the situation. So I don't know. I'm right with Vicky. It does seem like a long Monday.
Only one more Monday to go before Christmas, guys. Hang in there.
Oh, I can't wait.
Celtics win. There we go.
Celtics win
by 14.
Wow. 500.
Jason
500
Tatum with a 42-point performance.
Well, it's right on cue, Danny Football. It's like you knew the question that was coming. Final question of the night comes from our good friend Joseph_Celia. He writes, everyone but JT and JB should be on the trading block. Blow the Celtics up.
I don't argue with that. Even if, even despite this win, no one should be safe apart from those two. No one should be safe. Even I'm including Marcus Smart. I'm including Rob Williams. I love Rob, but if you can get something huge for Rob, trade him. You have the two pillars of this team you got to figure something else out around it. It's just not working as it's constructed.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, it's always good to keep a couple guys, but right now, no one's safe except if your name
Right.
is Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
I'm not saying the entire roster needs to go. Obviously, you need to, hang on to, like a Langford or a Grant, unfortunately, but
he's playing unbelievable.
I know
I don't know what it is.
but we've seen it. Like, you brought in Kyrie, it didn't work. You brought in Gordon Hayward, it didn't work. You brought in Kemba, it didn't work. You got to keep trying. While you have these guys under contract, you got to keep trying. You can't punt like you did last season, where you're like, all right, Kemba's not the guy. Let's try to trade him. They couldn't trade him. You got to make a move. You got to keep these, as long as you have these guys under control, you need to be trying something every single year until it works again. So it remains to be seen if they'll do it, but I'm with them. Every single person other than those two needs to be, if you're picking up the phone, you got to be talking about it.
And I have to say, I think Brad seems to be more of he definitely seems to be a little more of a wheeler and dealer than Danny. Not wheeler and dealer, because Danny made some great trades, but I feel like he's more willing to
Right. Danny needs to win every single trade, whereas Brad, I think if he just does what's best for the team, he'll be okay.
Yeah. So, great. You know what? And Joseph _Celia knows best. So if he says blow it up, I say blow it up too. Thank you all for the questions and the topics. Remember, you can write on our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Give us a follow there. You can also tell us on there whose all-time Christmas song list that you like the most. I gotta be honest with you, Danny Football. I may be voting for you.
I'll take your vote.
I may be throwing my vote over to you. I think
take the vote.
I think my middle rounds weren't as great. I think my first round pick was a reach. And I got to be honest with you. I think I'd go with you. But you know what? Everyone vote for me.
There we go.
So give us a follow there. Let us know what you think. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you hit the like button on this video as well as all our other videos. And you subscribe to the channel. And also, please tell a friend. My thanks to Dave Football for joining this week. As always, have a great week, everyone.